government is at it again, and this time it is here in Iowa and surrounding states with the CO2 gas pipeline that they claim will help in climate change. We're going to jump on the computer and I'm going to show you more about what is happening with the controversial pipeline that Summit Carbon Solutions is pushing for. All right, guys, we are covering the pipeline. We're going to go over everything. I really did a lot of research and wanted to get an idea because I've had this brought up to me a couple times now. So Summit Carbon Solutions is a company pushing for hazardous liquid pipeline in Iowa. It's kind of a big deal. It's eminent domain. We'll kind of go over that here in a second. But Summit Carbon Solutions filed a petition on January 28, 2022 to build a 688-mile pipeline that would transport liquefied carbon dioxide from ethanol plants to North Dakota for underground storage. June 25th, 2024, the Iowa Utilities Board approved the application with modifications, but required additional filings before a permit is issued. The pipeline would cross 29 counties in Iowa, as well as Nebraska, Minnesota, South Dakota, and North Dakota. Summit has partnered with 57 ethanol plants and claims to have signed voluntary easement agreements with 75% of landowners along the Iowa route. So leave in the comments what you guys think of this while we go through this all, but make sure to leave in the comments. I like to see what everyone thinks of all this. So Summit hopes to begin construction next year and have the pipeline operational in 2026. So it's kind of a big deal. It's deals with eminent domain, and we're going to get into that real quick here. Here is a map of where it's all going to go. So obviously, all the way southwest, northwest, even some in northeast Iowa, all the way from Chickasaw County, all the way up here to Lincoln County and in South Dakota there, and you got all sorts of different counties in Iowa that are being affected by this, and even way southwest Iowa. It looks like even close to, not quite Des Moines, but pretty dang close to Des Moines even. So we're not going to go over everything on this page, but basically from the gist of it, I'm going to kind of break down what I'm seeing here. And and we're going to do one other one, but basically it has to do with climate change. So whether you agree with that or you don't agree with that, that's the whole purpose of this pipeline. They're going to bring CO2, according to on the news, underground and store it underneath North Dakota. It's kind of one of those bipartisan. If you're on the right, you're probably against this. If you're on the left, you may be for this. I'm going to keep my opinion out of this. I'll let you guys decide for yourself. I won't read all of this, but there is another one. Wolf Carbon Solutions partnering with ADM to run a carbon dioxide pipeline from Cedar Rapids, Iowa to Clinton, Iowa, and then onto Decatur, Illinois. This was announced on January 11, 2022. And this examples of these proposed pipelines in Iowa. CCS is a false solution that takes us further away from our climate goals. These pipelines continue business as usual, will only be feasible with a massive public subsidies and should not be approved. Let's invest in real climate solutions. So what is eminent domain? Eminent domain is the power of the government to take private property for public use without the owner's consent and with just compensation. That's what they're planning on doing with this pipeline, just so you know. There's going to be a lot more to come of this if it does get approved. What is the purpose? We kind of went over this, but to transport liquefied carbon dioxide from ethanol plants to sequestration site in North Dakota for underground storage. The pipeline is part of a larger project that will run through Iowa, Nebraska, Minnesota, South Dakota, and North Dakota. So it's all about greenhouse gas. If you get further into this, we won't go over everything on these pages, but let's just say it definitely has to do with greenhouse gas. And then, will the Iowa pipeline be eminent domain? Yes, the Summit Carbon Solutions CO2 pipeline in Iowa will exercise eminent domain. The Iowa Utilities Board approved the application in June 2024, which grants the company the right to exercise eminent domain to lay 688 miles of pipeline in the state, which is absolutely crazy. However, the Fifth Amendment requires that eminent domain be used for a public use, which has traditionally meant projects like roads or bridges. It's definitely not cut and dry that this is going to be put in, but it's trying to be pushed along, though. So where in Iowa? You got Boone, Cerro Gordo, Cherokee, Chickasaw, Clay, Crawford, Dickinson, Emmett, Floyd, Franklin, Fremont, Greene, Hancock, Hardin, Ida, Koseth, Lyon, Montgomery, O'Brien, Page, Palo Alto, Plymouth, Potawatomi, Shelby, Sioux, Story, Webster, Woodbury, and Wright counties in Iowa. And then also we went briefly over that other pipeline that would go from Cedar Rapids all the way to, I believe it was Clinton, and then all the way to Decatur, Illinois on that one. And 57 ethanol plants to would liquefy that and be stored under North Dakota. And then here's a couple news articles. We'll kind of close with all of this. So there was Iowa's rally at state capitol against eminent domain for carbon pipelines. So a lot of people, as you can see, no deadly carbon pipelines, people over pipelines, and obviously you're seeing Trump hats. So it seems to be Republicans are fighting against it. So Vivint Ramaswamy, so he was the guy that ran for this was back in January. So this has been going on a while. But he basically says that he would not be in support of this, and I imagine that Donald Trump would not be as well. It would be over 2,000 miles in 5 states, so we'll see what happens here. But yeah, people were very, very upset. I don't know that number, but I do know that there's a lot more momentum to get something done. Then even if bills pass, however, he raised doubt that it would have much of an effect on current pipeline projects. Obviously, there's so many checks have been written and so many contracts that have been signed. It would probably be for mostly future purpose, he said, but regardless, something needs to be done because who knows what the next pipeline is going to be. So I don't know who all said that. I'm guessing this Brad's on. Then the final public meeting for the proposed Summit Carbon Pipeline is today in Buena Vista County. I have not heard anything more than this. So this is actually today when I shot this video. The final public meeting on the expansion of the Summit Carbon Solutions Carbon Capture Pipeline Expansion Project is today, Friday, at noon at the Cobblestone Bathroom in Lakeside. So it's going on right now. I know that this Balder basically is against it. Public meetings in 23 counties is required by Iowa Utilities Commission, and it seeks to increase its nearly 700-mile carbon capture pipeline by 340 miles. Increase it by 340 miles. A meeting was held last Thursday evening in Holstein. Several property owners, lawmakers, and Sierra Club have filed lawsuits opposing the use of eminent domain to build a pipeline connecting about 60 ethanol plants across 5 states. State regulators have already granted Summit approval to build along its original 688-mile route through Iowa. So they're not just trying to push it, they're trying to expand it. So anyways, guys, this is the latest on the Iowa pipeline. There's going to be a lot of angry people and property rights, and we'll see what happens. But hopefully you got some information from this video, and we'll see you on the next one, guys.